Okay. Alright, so we are going to take place back when you landed in Andrahanat in your time over there. So this is just kind of like when you were in there for a while. There, you spent a number of years and you eventually became the age that you would when you initially sailed out to Batavia. So you spent, what was it, 10 years here? About so.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Father would eventually move to the city for quite a while, still having his own estate, of course, to come properly live with you guys again. But for now, the estate remains kind of abandoned in a sense. Not so much as really abandoned, but a little bit. So, during the time with your father and taking up your father's trade in gunsmithing, you've learned 2 new proficiencies as part of your character. Let me mute that chat. Great. Okay. So, I can write this down. Goodness, I should... Hold on. Let me get this crap onto my desktop so I can copy and paste from there. Okay, so time with your father and taking up your father's trade in gunsmithing, you've learned firearm manufacturing and firearm modding. These will be completely new skills that are separate from smithing, but as your artificer, you took those up anyways.
Got it.
But these new skills are unique for Commonwealth of Menelidil and the path that you have chosen. Next up, when you learned under Felix Beckenclaw, you've learned about arcane synergies. Level 1, he teaches you 2 spells. Level 1 is Arcane Overdrive, and it is a reaction. You've learned to infuse your rifle with magical energy. As a reaction, when you fire your firearm, you can spend a level 1 spell slot to deal an extra 1d8 force damage. And then level 2 spell, Overclock, as a reaction. You magically enchant 1 firearm to overclock your next shot, doubling its rate of fire, but with a stacking -1 to hit for every consecutive shot you make. Your gun, after this, your gun overheats and jams for 1 turn.
Thank you. I was about to be like, well... Alright.
And due to your incredible luck that you've been having with natural 20s and basically nat 20ing our entire backstory session, from being able to see and track the deer, being able to shoot, to trying to save your mother, as well as tracking down the intruder, you've gained the ability Unnatural Flexible Luck. When you roll a natural 20, gain 1 stack of luck. At 5 stacks, you can consume 5 stacks to gain a spell slot level of your choice. At 3 stacks, you can consume 3 stacks to reroll 1 die of your choice.
Wow. That's pretty good.
So every natural 20, you will gain 1 stack of luck. I'll write this too. There's max stacks of 5. You can consume them whenever you wish, but of course you have a maximum stacks of 5. And your only way of gaining this unnatural flexible luck is by rolling natural 20s.
So my stack maximum is 5, which means I can only, at which then I must use it, or I don't have to, but it just sits there.
Yeah.
And it says I gain a spell slot level of my choice. So does that mean that, for example, not that I would necessarily get there, but like level 5, I could either redeem that for a level 5 or level 1 spell?
So basically, the way that it's worded could be a little weird, but say you're level 17, I believe, and you have unlocked like level 5 spell slots. You used up a level 5 spell slot, and now you want to refresh that spell slot. You can do so with this.
Okay, so it's like you regen it.
Yeah, you refresh it.
Right,
And it's any spell slot of your choice.
But this wouldn't be something like after a while, you know, I would need a level 4 spell slot, and so then I could use this feature to get it. It would have to be, I would have to expend it and then consume the 5 stacks to refresh it.
Yes.
Got it, okay.
There will be ways to expand this. This is
Just roll more natural 20s and use it.
This is one of these dynamic skills in which will be much more explained at like level 2 or maybe 3. But later on you will see that you can expand this skill set to basically allow you to, if you choose to, expand your level slot 1 tier higher. Of course, you can only cast the spells that you have prepared.
Right.
So, you know, you can cast them 1 level higher than you normally could. But that's later down the road.
Also, is this the Arcane Overdrive, is this a reference?
No.
Really?
What would it be a reference to?
JoJo's. With the earlier part of JoJo's Sunlight Overdrive? No? Okay.
Actually, sorry, it's been a long time since I created these. If I'm recalling right, I did make a JoJo's reference as part of one of your sessions, and this might have been it. Because
Okay.
Haman is able to deal extra damage with anything that you attach it to. And this is the exact same thing, but with, you know, your bullets. So,
and
okay.
It's arcade.
If I remember, I will take this. Yeah, it's a reference. A reference to Haman. Or Sunlight Overdrive.
Yep, alright. And then, of course, there was the Battletech reference and the symbols, the emblems.
You can go ahead and gain a reference point to that as well. Since no one else has called it. Yes, the emblems and regalia of the nation's banners are indeed from Battletech.
Specifically the mod, because they're cool like that.
So when you are writing these down, write these down as part of your notes somewhere in your character sheet so we can use it as reference for the future. And let me know once you kind of caught up a little.
Yeah, I just had to figure out where that would go. You know, I guess bibliography, everybody can
Other
see
people
that, so.
have been putting it under I was going to say biography as well, but apparently he doesn't. Okay, I have no idea where Grendel puts his. What about Do? Yeah, Do puts it in their biography. During your time, we already went over this, but I'm giving it a proper name. During your time with Felix Beckenclaw, who is the Fleet Admiral of Fleet Tempest, you are now a junior fleet captain, in name only. You are proficient with air vehicles. That should be backwards. There we go. So, Felix would come to you one day and knock at the door.
Yes? What is it?
As you open the door, you are greeted by Felix and Harkon. Felix would speak out first. You are now old enough to learn some of the secrets that we have learned during the war against the theocracy. I would like for you to join us in this ritual. It is an ancestral ritual. That way we can commune with the dead to live their experiences and memories. I want to show you what happened during that fateful day when Nightmare Moon glaciarized our entire agriculture section.
Interesting. I think, I was initially going to be like, oh, they're going to make him relive his thing with his mother dying to see if they can catch the culprit.
No.
Like, well, I don't know if Otto's prepared for that.
You have to be dead
but...
in order for it to work, but no, they're not doing that. And to relive your memory is based off of what you have seen and can recall as the person. So you can't just divinate more things.
Right. So I guess this means that the original people that were there who lived to tell it and survive, basically this has been a communal memory that has been passed down through the ages.
Correct.
Okay, that's pretty mental. Here you go, son. We're looking at the Elder Scroll today.
So,
Otto will say, very well. This would be something that he has studied before, is that right?
if you would like to have studied a little bit of what the Ancestor type faction does, yes. They commune with spirits and, more specifically, the dead. Only high levels can commune from long ago dead spirits repeatedly, because as we know, Speak with Dead only works on a target once, and that's it. Ancestors, however, of this path, they can continually communicate with them, but it has to be of a memory that they know. They're not asking it questions, they're kind of just living the memories of this person.
Right.
So, Felix and Harkon lead the way. You see the flickering torches against these black stone hallways. You enter a spiraling tower that goes deep, deep into Andrahanat. Harkon goes ahead and takes out his keys and opens a large metal door. The catacombs, Harkon says. This is where we will do our ritual. As you go ahead and enter the catacombs, you see a little bit of the ritual has already been prepared. And there is a grand tomb in the middle of the room that everybody walks up towards. This dead body is the only one that we have recovered ever since that fateful day. He has taught us many things about what he has seen, and now it is for you to be the carrier of this new torch, to learn the knowledge of our past ancestors, and to use that to shape our better future. Harkon will go around to the candles. He, as you can see, with his Minotaur fingers, he goes ahead and plucks them into a bag, and he comes out with dust. Near the candle's wicker, he goes ahead and snaps his fingers. The dust ignites into this blue soul-like flame next to the candles. He goes to each of these candles and begins to speak a prayer as he circles around it. The torches around the catacombs flicker, and then eventually the orange torches that are around the room fade to nothing, their embers still and cold, as the dead begins to speak. Who dares open my slumber? Harkon will speak to it. We need to live the memory of the crusade against the giants. We need this to carry forth your memory so it will never go to waste. Harkon will gesture for you to take your talons to touch the top of the head of the dead person. Lucky you.
Yeah, no kidding.
This here, Harkon says, is Jormungandr, the only known dead person that we found in the glacier. All the rest of the bodies are buried underneath mountains of snow and ice. This is all that is left of what the past is.
Otto will go ahead and reach his talons out, being kind of to minimize contact and to be as gentle as possible. Like he is very gently putting the least amount of touch on the head.
As you go ahead and touch him, your eyes begin to turn into the soul wispy blue, and your eyes start to fade over on itself. Jormungandr's words will echo as your vision flows through him. It started with the cold that bites and crawls into the marrow of your bones, that gets into your lungs and your thoughts. A creeping frost that told me something was coming, something of sin. I exited my home, and the sky overhead blackened, not like dusk, not like the night, but like the heavens themselves been blotted out. Then I saw her, the tyrant, Nightmare Moon. She did not ride with fanfare. There were no horns, no warnings, no time to run. Just silence. Like the world itself held its breath. Then they fell. Bat ponies, hundreds, thousands of them, and her demon guard. They descended like a plague, like shadows given hate and metal. They tore through us like paper. No tactics, no demands, no mercy. The first screams were choked off before they ever left their throats. I saw a man get skewered through the mouth before he even turned to look. A mother cradled her baby, and then there was just blood. So much blood. We didn't fight. We couldn't against this. I crawled into the wreckage of a collapsed home, fire breaking out. The splinters biting into my arms, the dust and smoke choking my sobs. I pressed myself into the debris like it could save me, like the broken bones of a house were holier than any god. And from that cursed, hollow bitch, I saw her, Nightmare Moon, wings like storm clouds, horns gleaming with wet death, fur dripping crimson. She walked through the carnage like a bored executioner at a butcher's festival. There was no rage in her, no righteousness. There's no holy saint in her, only disinterest, like we were vermin to be stamped out between errands. I remember seeing a child stumbling from a corpse. I think it was his mother, or what was left of it. Her torso was unrecognizable. The boy was soaked in her, sobbing with grief. He looked up at her, eyes wide, shaking, screaming, calling her a tyrant. And then she smiled. God's damn her for all eternity, that damn smile. It wasn't anger, it wasn't sadism, it was just joyless delight, like a wolf enjoying the taste of a lamb, not for hunger, but for just the mere sport of it. She raised her hoof, carved the air with magic, and the child came apart. Top from bottom. The sound, the sickening wet sound. I could still hear it. I ran. I didn't think, I didn't breathe, I just ran through the smoke, the screams, the carcasses that used to be my neighbors. My legs moved like they belonged to someone else. I should be dead, but I lived. I hid like a rat. Like a coward, I watched the end from under the bones and embers of my own town. And I saw a godless smile as she butchered the children. And that smile was all I saw before the cold. And as you can see, it begins as the frost hits the ground from Nightmare Moon, the land around it enveloping instantly into absolute zero. This is the tale of your Mungder, Felix Beckenclaw said. This is why our nation is the way it is. Why we're not prosperous like the theocracy or the Silene Empire. No, we were always treated like vermin from them. And so we became what they were, like rats hiding in our burrows, forging away new mechanical abominations. The gods, the sinners, they all need to understand and pay for what they have done to us. The body of the corpse of Jormungandr goes limp again. Their vision returns to normal. Both Jormungandr's and Felix Beckenclaw's words echo in your mind. This is the story of what was seen during the crusade against the giants. If you remember, your family too was affected by this blizzard. Luckily, you weren't in the heart of it, but on the outskirts. All the same, it destroyed your entire home and all the villages within it. Life could have been different, should this not have happened. You think over what you know and have seen throughout the years of Andrahanat. The king, the original king of Menelidil, was a kind man. Strong, firm, but definitely kind. Under his rule, under having actual food everywhere, this place would have been much different, much happier, much more normal. But it was her. It was the faction. It was the devil solar eclipse. She orchestrated all of this. She caused the collapse of a nation, and from those embers didn't rise a brand new phoenix. No. It rose a monster of a nation, one rife with slavery, fracking, mining operations that always go wrong, lava forging new machinations of war. The landscape, once beautiful, with a little bit of hilly jungle, is now nothing but a sort of a wasteland in a lot of these areas. Every inch of this land now fighting for its survival. What happens when a person is pushed so hard into the ground and that they are broken in every single way? How else were they meant to survive, if not through strength of their own? And that is what the Commonwealth of Menelidil is nowadays. Strength, and strength means everything.
So I would like to so maybe this is like history, right?
Mm-hmm.
So effectively what had happened was that she had swooped down onto this town and basically annihilated it before it became ground zero for the deep frost, effectively.
Correct.
Right? What kind of role would it be to determine why she slaughtered the townspeople if they were all going to freeze to death first?
I will answer this in two ways. Number one is insight. And number two, Hormungder, he stated that it was just joyless delight. A person that just wanted to do it for the sport of it. But if you would like to create your own interpretation from it, it would need to be insight.
Yeah, okay. I will roll insight. $18.
From your time reading lots of books, you've studied a little bit of the Selunian theocracy about this war as well, and their version of it. For them, they sought to come out here for peace, and they have explicitly outlined that they sent 3 envoys to the king, but only their heads were turned back to them. Out of rage, out of anger of her envoys' heads being returned to him or her, it could have been that. Now the war did happen between before, during, and just before the Absolute Zero. During this time, just before the war, an envoy was sent out. During the war, 2 more were sent out to end it peacefully. But again, only their heads returned to Nightmare Moon. Through her desperation, mayhaps, she wanted to end the war as soon as possible. That way no more lives were caught up in this. But another strain of thought comes into this. during this time of her wanting to end the war was the time the Hive of Change rose from the ground and took over that small region down there. Region down there, not small. So the Theocracy was fighting on two fronts, and one of them was a surprise war. It very well could be that she wanted to wrap up the battle, was angry, and there was a lot of pressure being had from the South and losing that territory because the South, during its wars against them, had very little soldiers down there. They didn't expect this massive hive to come up from underneath them. They knew that the hives existed down there, but not to the scale of not to the scale of Scorloon's. Scorloon's hive is the biggest one of them all. Roll another history check if you want to learn a little bit more about the Hive of Change beginning at this era, this moment in time.
Yeah. Would that be insight or history?
History.
Okay, 21.
With a 21, you have certainly read a lot of text that indicated that Scorloon was the one who united the tribes of the Hive of Change. They used to be splintered off from each other, and they really they kept fighting each other. It was a bloody battle in between them, but it was all just like tribalism, right? It was Scorloon and her ideology, her power and strength that united the rest of the hives. And from this unification, she needed a target of people's anger with one another to kind of like fight alongside each other. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so from that, they went ahead and went to war. That way they can claim the surface, but also to pin their frustrations against the Seleucid Theocracy rather than themselves. And from this war bred unity between the hives. They all helped each other out and very successfully carved a large chunk of the world for them. And
interesting.
You already know that one changeling hive is innumerable. Having a whole region of changeling hives being united, now that's a force to be really reckoned with. So that is the tale of the Crusade of the Giants. What really happened, you are not sure, but you have some inklings. You see that Nightmare Moon is a tyrant, bloodthirsty, finds joy in killing. Well, joyless delight, finds delight in killing. The gods may not be who they seem to portray themselves as. You've heard whispering rumors, as well as certainly Menelidil throwing in the rumor mill, that the Theocracy is brainwashed. That solar eclipse is the orchestrator, like the behind-the-scenes evil to a lot of this world. And that's the end. Any other questions?
A lot of note taking. A lot of details. I think for Otto, with just how he is interpreting all of this, is that these are some interesting thoughts. Now, I don't think he would particularly pay attention to them, we'll call it, or give them enough merit. I think he is still upset and angry, and maybe this is something that he will further explore. But I think with what he's been going through, he is equally looking for someone to blame. And this will be things that he might know of, but he would much rather dismiss. Also, yeah, the fact that ritual is kind of a... Well, how many people typically have this ritual? Is it a common
So this
rite
ritual
of passage
is not
for
common.
particular individuals?
The ritual is not common because it's kind of expensive with the dust.
Yeah.
Only select few people. Like, it's not like super omega rare, but it's also not like common either. It is very infrequently done because the published news of what happened is out there. That's what the nation believes. And after all, this perspective, this vision that you saw, was directly from a person there that died. They don't, as you know with Raised Dead, they can't answer untruthfully. They can choose not to answer. They can choose to answer vaguely. But they can't choose not to lie about it.
Well, a lot of things to think about now. Yeah. As well as a lot of the other feats. So, yeah.
What do you think of everything? From the feats, spells, into this?
I'll have to take a look more at the feats and spell stuff. They sound very nice. Not sure how the overclock fully works.
It doubles your rate of fire.
Well, yeah. So, for example, if I have a rate of fire of 2 and then it doubles it,
that's 4.
Does it mean that on shot 3 it's a -1 and then on shot 4 it's a -2?
That is correct.
Okay.
Also,
seems...
I seem to have forgotten this again. So, your Kraken's tentacle.
Yep.
Oh, I accidentally sent enter. It has an ability, and I call it the Nerve Storm. So, what you kind of have there as part of the tip of the tentacle is a set of nerves. And it releases bioelectric discharges of lightning. Within 10 feet. Lasting up to 1 minute. Targets within 10 feet must succeed a Constitution saving throw or take 2d6 lightning damage.
Did I hear my favorite 2d6? Wow. Or only take half as much?
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
There you go.
Just basically have a Tesla coil attached to you for 1 minute, and it just zaps people who get close. Yep.
Yeah. So back to what we were saying. What did you think of everything?
Very cool. Definitely, Nightmare Mirror is a bad person. According to what Otto has seen.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think it's very interesting that he is the one that has been chosen. It very much seems to be that, like, because of his mother's passing and being in Underoon, he has been kind of guided by Beck and Claw and Felix and maybe a couple of others into a very particular path. And for lack of a better word, like they're basically shaping him and crafting him to be a weapon of sorts. They're providing him all of the fuel that is necessary, using and leveraging, his rage, to become someone who could very well be very useful in a war against the Thelonian theocracy. That's how I kind of see this shaping to be, and it's very interesting because, of course, like, how would he know better?
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of playing right into that, and which is pretty normal and natural for this kind of development. So I think it's very interesting. I think it'll be very interesting developments to see how Otto kind of takes this, or maybe either. I think it would be too soon to resist a lot of this kind of stuff. He wouldn't know any better, and I think it's definitely going to take a lot, and maybe the interactions with Do and Grendel might change his perspectives or force him to change, but we'll see how that goes. He will definitely be resistant to a lot of those ideas. So we'll see.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like I said, I lost my note when we were doing your session, and I was like, oh fuck. So I'm glad that I could catch you just before the session begins. That way you could get a better understanding of what you have seen and what has happened.
Yep, and it's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Honestly, like here's the thing, like I totally don't like the Thelonian theocracy definitely getting double teamed, and especially from something as threatening as the Hive of Change would be like, I think I'm gonna worry about them. Maybe it's a tactical misplay that they allocated troops over to one particular side that didn't matter. But they kind of solved it in one way or another afterwards.
Oh yeah, they instantly ended the war right then and there.
Yep. We just deleted your capacity to do anything. Anyways. Or also the thing that the end envoys had died, which I feel like could have been intentional from the Commonwealth. However, as a pessimist, I feel like they definitely got assassinated, and someone didn't want them. They didn't want the peace talks, and they had an interest in keeping the war going, and probably in its outcome. So in that kind of way, I'm like, who could be behind this? Alternatively, they could have their own assassins just kill their own envoys and be like, well, it's justified now. But, there's a lot at play, it seems like.
There definitely is.
Very intriguing.
Well, I will give you 20-ish minutes, 25 minutes, in order to relax and to get ready for our next session. Thank you for your time, and thank you for allowing me to correct a few things.
Yep. Thank you for the insight as well.
Yeah.
I filled out yet another page of notes. So. Yep.
All right, I'll see you in 25 minutes.
Sounds good. Thanks again.
Yeah.